Rar, rar, rar. Good day, everyone. I am Rampadorang Nathalie Saclag at your service. Today, I am going to share to you my favorite novel book, which is Dekada 60. So, what is Dekada 60?
From what I've read from Dekada 60, it would seem as if the 1970s was a frightful time to be alive, not only for the reformists nor communists continually prosecuted in the events of the novel, but also for the women, as the 1970s is irrevocably still plagued by the patriarchal paradigm. The novel manifested how families dealt with the agony brought by the devastating event, common family issues as well as the undying societal issue of feminism and masculinism was portrayed in the book. Amanda was portrayed as a typical mother, loving, caring, and a wife who is under her husband's rule. She wanted to work in the advertising. She wanted to work not merely for money, but for the sense of being the feeling of my Sylvie. As what she narrated in the first part of the movie, she believes that a woman, mother, or a wife's role must not just end in raising her children, but also go out of her home and do what she must do for the society and contribute for a change in her country. Masculinism was depicted by the father Julian, wherein he strongly opposed to the thought of his wife working. According to him, hindi ka magtatrabaho hanggat ako ang lalaki sa ating dalawa. Having 5 sons, Julian believes that Amanda should just stay at home, do her duties and responsibilities as a mother, and he will be the one who will provide the needs of the family, even the luxuries that his wife wants. Usually, this is the setting for a Filipino family. The wife stays at home and the father working and being the provider for the family. Julian also exerted how man is superior in the world as he said, hanggat sa maawa kaming isali kayo sa ligaya at tuwalhati ng mundong ibabaw, wala kayong magagawa. Iyan ang batas. It's a man's world. In the year 1972, Ferdinand Marcos enforced the implementation of martial law. At first, Julian was in favor of the martial law and according to him, hindi gagawin iyan kung hindi kailangan. Julian and Amanda's son, Gani, decided to join the U.S. Navy. His parents were supportive of his choice. However, Jules, the eldest, was not in favor of his brother's decision. Contrary to his brother's Gani's mindset, who wants to join the U.S. Navy for the good opportunities and high salary. Jules is a strongly nationalist wherein he even joined the New People's Army or NPA. Julian accepted and supported this choice of Jules for he believes that this choice of Jules is what makes him a man. As Julian said, karapatan niyang sundin ang sarili niya, hanapin ang sarili, niyang katotohanan, mamamatay sa sariling paninindigan kung kinakailangan maging isang tunay na lalaki. The real tragedy in the Bartolome family started when Jules was arrested for being a part of an organization which fights against the government. He was tortured during interrogation but he remained stiff and kept his mouth shut. Eman, their third child, was also in the brink of danger and being captured. This is because he is a writer and during those times of Marcos, all forms of media was under his control. The most painful tragedy that the family had to face was when Jason, Julian, and Amanda's second youngest child died. His body was found on a dumpster, brutally tortured that led to his death, and the family has no idea who killed him. What they only know is that he was the first detained for possession of marijuana, but then he was released and the rest is a mystery.
So the setting of the novel Dekada 60 was during the martial law or the rise of the military in the Philippine history under the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos.
The characters of the story are Amanda Bartolome, the protagonist of the story, a mother of 5 children. Julian Bartolome, the father, socialite, and decision-maker of the family. Jules, the first child, a communist, a fighter, and an activist brave man who will do everything for the sake of his country. Isagani, the second son, Eman, the silent activist, novelist, and writer, he wanted also freedom to his country. The third son is Jason, a music lover and dies but no one knows why. And the last member of the family is there were patriarchal themes scattered across the novel, mainly in the first half where Amanda Bartolome and her familial life is introduced. There was an incessant mention from her husband Julian that it's a man's world, honey, as if women have no right nor claim to the living world. The men, sons, and husbands surrounding the heroine's life constantly reminded her of her place in society. A person who makes meals, rears children, takes her husband's word without complaint, and fixes every domestic problem that comes their way. Amanda readily believes their statements. She believes herself to be only a woman, that the only right as a woman has to the world is motherhood. It would be blasphemous to feminists to have this heroine accept and have pride with all her heart that the female race is only empowered through childbirth. Marxism can be seen in here, wherein those in power controls the resources and oppress the poor so as to remain in power. The story revolves around the middle-class family caught in the midst of Marcos' regime. Although there were differences between each family member's ideologies and political outlook, the tragedies brought by the martial law made them disregard their own opinions and unite in order to protect their own family. Each character in Luwalhati Bautista's Dekada 60 symbolizes something. The first is Amanda. She symbolizes the Filipino people where we are being oppressed. Julian symbolizes the government, the oppressor, the one who have power, and Jules, as well as the other children, symbolizes our rights as Filipinos. The mood of the novel Dekada 60 are oppressive and agony. It was way back 1970 and the political power in the Philippines was aggravating the Filipino rights and it causes so much destruction that kills a lot of innocent. The conflict in the novel Dekada 60 are man versus society, man versus man, and man versus himself. The characters in this story was fighting for their freedom and attaining it was so hard because they have different ideologies and political outlook that made them realize attaining freedom is survival. Julian, the husband of Amanda, keeps saying that it's a man's world, but he can't make wise decisions without the help of his wife Amanda. Dekada 60 is a story from Amanda Bartolome's point of view. Amanda is more than just a mom of 5 children. She is just the epitome of every Filipina who transforms herself from being naive to being dynamic. Inside her heart is a mother, a fighter, and an independent woman.